It's so nice to see the city embrace the Bruins again, and they've answered the bell. They've had some ups and downs, but they've always come back. To be part of a team and part of a family like the Boston Bruins, great history, so many great characters. I'm proud to wear that sweater. The fans are really, that's part of the family. The number of champions they've had in this city, and to have the Bruins back there, it's really special.
Boston, arguably the most successful sports city of the past decade. Yet while the Red Sox, Celtics, and Patriots have each captured at least one championship, the Boston Bruins have been an organization in transition. Despite regular season success, postseason early exits left the club searching for an identity heading into the fall of 2005.
And the Boston Bruins can't find a way to win a hockey game.
After losing 9 of 10 games in November of 2005, the Bruins decided to make a drastic change.
Last night, Joe Thornton dealt to the San Jose Sharks for 3 players: Brad Stewart, Marco Sturm, and Wayne Primo.
When you look back at it now, that trade was enormously controversial. A lot of people wondered, how does that benefit the Bruins?
The following summer, the Bruins added a new and very big cornerstone.
The Bruins were going to get a player to build from the back forward the way all great Bruins teams in the past have always been built.
How about 6'9" Zdeno Chara, because the Boston Bruins were busy in the offseason as well.
He turns that whole franchise around, and the Boston Bruins have added a lot of oomph there.
What we needed to do was go out and find a real marquee player to help build a team around. And that came with Zdeno Chara. And when Z came, pieces you could see begin to fall into place.
I have the privilege to wear the C, but to me it's just like I said, it's a big honor, but at the same time it's just a letter on the jersey.
In addition to the new captain, Boston also hired a new general manager, 41-year-old Peter Chiarelli.
The instructions given to me by the Jacobs are very clear, and that is to return a winning tradition to the Boston Bruins organization, and I'm going to do that.
The transformation continued off the ice. In 2007, Claude Julien was hired as head coach, and Bruins legend Cam Neely was appointed vice president.
Well, Cam just is the ultimate Bruin.
Here we have a Hall of Famer whose style of play is what we fashioned our team after, so obviously a huge part of this organization.
Well, I just remember when I was playing and I saw former players that got involved in management, and when you talk to them, they certainly, as a player, you certainly can understand the situations they've been through, what they've done, how they had to accomplish it, and what you have to go through as a player. It's a long grind.
The team was headed in the right direction, rejuvenating the tradition of postseason hockey in New England. But a loss to the rival Montreal Canadiens and stunning comeback upsets at the hands of the Carolina Hurricanes and Philadelphia Flyers showed that there was still work to be done.
And the Flyers with a comeback for the history books from 0-3 down to win the series in 7 games.
In the summer of 2010, Chiarelli and new team president Cam Neely wasted no time getting to work, acquiring forwards Gregory Campbell and Nathan Horton from the Florida Panthers.
Peter did a great job at bringing Horton and Campbell in. They filled in some gaps that we had the year before. Horton was a guy that certainly gave us a lot more goal scoring, certainly gave us obviously a good physical presence. Gregory Campbell came in and we put him in a fourth line center role. He was a perfect guy for it. He was a great penalty killer. He was a great shot blocker. He was a guy that came and played hard every night.
I was excited to come to Original Six team, a team that expects to win, and I knew that I was going to have an opportunity to play in the playoffs.
The whole organization is winning, and I was real excited to be part of that.
Moves to the slot, the shot, scores! That's Nathan Horton.
At the draft, the Bruins added some young blood to the offense.
And with the second pick, the Boston Bruins select from the Plymouth Whalers, Tyler Seguin.
With their rosters set, The revamped Bruins were optimistic as they headed to the Czech Republic to begin the 2010-2011 season.
You know, the whole setup was perfect for our team to go out there and bond, and we got together as a group and we really enjoyed it, had fun with it. You know, on and off the ice, we did everything together, and it was just it was a great experience and something, you know, that got us to going in the right direction.
That was probably a big key to our success. Our players really enjoyed the experience, and that was an important start to our season.
The team split the series in Prague. Game 2 starter Tim Thomas returned to form, earning his first of 3 October shutouts.
Thomas, a long time coming to get himself back in there and get the win in the shutout today.
For a guy who lost his starting job at the start of the previous season to Tuukka Rask, was bothered by hip injuries, to see him come back and virtually from the puck drop at the start of the regular season, where he led in every significant goaltending category, almost from wire to wire. It's a tremendous comeback story.
Not since Tiny Thompson, 73 years ago, has a Boston goalie started a season 6-0, 3 shutouts in 6 games.
It's nice to get up to a start like this, that's for sure. Just for some people that might not know, my nickname's Tank, so Tank Thomas and Tiny Thompson is kind of funny. At least I find it funny.
While the veteran Thomas was bouncing back, a young star was coming into his own, showing early signs of a career season.
Bergeron left circle, walks in, centers one. Horton the backhand, save, rebound, score! Milan Lucic with a hat trick!
You know, it was obviously a tough season for me last year with breaking my finger and missing 6 weeks with that. And then coming back 4 games later, I got a high ankle sprain, and that bothered me for the rest of the year. I went into this season wanting to have a lot of fun, and that's, you know, having that mindset has definitely helped me be the player that I was.
Bergeron deep into the left corner, centers it, Lucic scores! Number 30 from Milan Lucic!
Trailing the division-leading Montreal Canadiens by 4 points, Boston welcomed the long-awaited return of an injured star in early December.
And they get Marc Savard back. First time this year, they're hoping he can spark the attack.
Savard brings that element. He's creative, he's dangerous, he's unpredictable. In losing him, they lost a huge part of their weaponry.
Savard looks for Ryder in front, and Shattenkirk tips the puck away. Savard is reaching for his helmet, and I don't know if Savard's opened up, but he is in a lot of pain.
You never want to see a guy get hurt like that and then have trouble coming back and then getting hurt again. And he's a great person, and he's a big part of this team, you know, and just for us to do what we did without him is huge.
With Savard shelved for the season, the Bruins bonded together during a February tilt with their historic rivals.
And a big collision behind the net, and here we go. We've got sticks and gloves everywhere. And Carey Price has a hold of Camper. Here comes Tim Thomas, the length of the ice.
It's an unwritten rule that you can't make it an odd man situation, and that's what I thought was happening.
Carey Price dropped his stick. He's taking his mask off. Thomas taking his mask off, and they're going to square off out near the blue line.
Loudest I ever heard the Garden was when Timmy skated out of his net and challenged the other goalie.
Price has a big size advantage on Tim Thomas.
Actually, with the way I felt, it wasn't one of my prouder moments.
Price tried to throw it right, both guys off balance. Thomas stumbled, trying to get back up. Referee is right there. Thomas's sweater pulled over his head, and the official not going to let that go a whole lot further.
We have a tight-knit group, and we were not afraid to stick up for each other when need be, and that was one of those scenarios.
You know, it's not something that you look for, it's something that happens, but at the same time, I thought our team, again, grew closer together by sticking together as a team.
The Boston Bruins have their first win of the year against the Montreal Canadiens, and they do it with authority. 8-6 in a game that woke up the echoes of the old days between the Bruins and Montreal.
Leading up to a Western road trip, the Bruins added needed depth before the trade deadline.
Peverley gave us some speed and some skill up front. And Caberlet was one of those guys that was more appreciated from inside our dressing room maybe than it was on the outside. Kelly was another guy that we brought in, and he was such a reliable guy defensively as well.
They made me feel welcome right from day one, and I knew right when I got to this team, this is a close-knit team.
Right away, I thought we formed a team very quickly. You know, we went on a road trip out west. I think it helped us a lot, you know, bonding, and I think it turned the season around.
And the Boston Bruins have won 6 straight on the road for the first time since 1972. And you remember what happened in the spring of '72, don't you?
Boston finished the regular season, clinching their 4th consecutive playoff berth.
And the Bruins make it official. They win the Northeast Division with a 3-2 victory over Atlanta.
Securing home ice advantage for another playoff bout with their hated northern rivals.
Montreal is the great hockey city in the world. Boston is the great hockey city in the United States.
There's something really special between Boston and Montreal, and that is an enmity that is genuine.
And we have blood all over the ice. To Rico. Score!
I grew up in Boston. For the Bruins to beat Montreal anytime, that's jubilation for me.
Playing against Montreal is always very intense. These games are extremely emotional and physical.
And somewhere Eddie Shore and Maurice Richard are smiling because the pot's boiling all the time.
There were fans in Boston that didn't want the Canadiens. They thought it was a difficult matchup for Boston. I welcomed it. You know, if you're going to win the Stanley Cup and you can go through Montreal doing it, that's the best.
The series opened in Boston, where the visiting Canadiens took control, outscoring the Bruins 5-1 en route to 2 road victories.
Wide open net, and you could just feel the frustration in Boston here.
Boy, this building is quiet as the Montreal Canadiens will celebrate winning back-to-back games in rather convincing fashion.
They lost both games, and both at home.
They're going up to Montreal. To me, it's the toughest building in the league to win. This doesn't look real good.
Either the Bruins are going to get back into this series, or they're going to be down a prohibitive 3-0. Tremendous emotional charge in the atmosphere. The game is on.
In a must-win Game 3, the Bruins came out strong and jumped right back into the series.
Tim Thomas coming up huge as Montreal has the high octane in the tank.
Impressive victory by the Bruins, Jack.
With a 2-day break before Game 4, Boston left Montreal for the quieter confines of Lake Placid, New York.
We just felt we wanted to get away somewhere quiet that involved a bus ride so the guys can get on the bus a little bit and hang out.
It was really good for our team to get away like that, to be able to spend some time in a more informal setting than we usually are.
Lake Placid was particularly special for Tim Thomas, who grew up idolizing 1980 U.S. goaltender Jim Craig.
On non-game days, you can relax and soak it in and see where history was made without the pressure of having to think about a game.
While it may have inspired Tim Thomas as an American hockey player to be in the very birthplace of Tim Thomas's dream, really what it did for the Bruins was it gave them insulation.
I thought our guys really enjoyed the experience, and when we came back, we were ready for Game 4.
Tremendous atmosphere here at the Bell Center. Comes out to Sokol, right circle drive, score!
The trip, however, did not pay immediate dividends as the Canadiens built a 3-1 lead. Still down by a goal late in the third, the Bruins were in need of some heroics.
Michael Ryder really, and that whole line, the 3 of them together really were a big role.
I think first 2 shifts that game we were like -2, so we knew we had to be better.
Heavily chasing in the corner, shouldered by Bowen. Ryder over to help out. Ryder in front. Loose puck and Kelly scores!
We just kept going out there and just tried to take it every shift, and we had a couple lucky bounces, and that's what you need in playoffs.
Up by Beverly left side, wrist shot, and he missed the net. Now trying to center it, Kelly. Ryder, wrist shot, score! Michael Ryder in front.
shot, and the Bruins win it in OT, and the series is tied 2 games apiece.
Going down by 2 games at home and battling our way back in a tough building.
Boston has never come back to win a series after falling behind 2-0.
From that point, I really felt that was just a big sign what a character we had.
Back in Boston for Game 5, Michael Ryder played a huge role once again, but at the other end of the ice.
He gets there, Camilleri pulls up, waits, backhands it in front. Oh, save made the save!
I don't even know what I was doing. Just try to stop the puck, you know. I knew Timmy was out of position, and you know, it's my ball hockey skills kicking in right there.
One of the most impressive things about it is he actually made that glove save with his off glove hand, which to me makes, as a goalie, you appreciate stuff like that.
For the second consecutive game in this series, we are going to overtime. And here comes Gianta, may have a 2-on-1 with Travis Moan. Moan has it now, looks back at crossbar shot! Oh, Tim Thomas with an incredible game-saving stop! Who will be the hero again, the overtime winner here? Drops it back now for Barron. Barron's looking to the front of the net. Loose puck, score!
That was pretty special. Get pucks to the net, get the rebound, and it was going to be a dirty goal.
To that point, it was the biggest goal Nathan Horton had ever scored.
Montreal evened the series with a 2-1 victory in Game 6, sending the teams back to Boston for a decisive Game 7.
3 years in a row, their season had ended with a loss in a 7th game, and it's the toughest way, I think, for your season to come to an end.
You know, this core group that had difficult losses in the postseason, they've learned lessons.
He scores!
In Game 7, the Bruins came out strong, scoring 2 first-period goals. Montreal battled back, but Boston took a 3-2 lead midway through the 3rd.
You know, it looked like they had the game won. They were up 3-2 late. Patrice Bergeron gets a late penalty called against them, which was an iffy call at best.
With their season on the line, Montreal's power play went to work.
2 minutes as of now to go in regulation. Laid back, Subban, score! And it's a tie game.
For the 3rd time in a week, the teams went to sudden death, but this time with the series on the line.
And McQuaid pushes it now for Lucic. He'll glove it. Feed it high slot. Horton, little room. His drive, score! Nathan Horton wins Game 7 in overtime. And the Bruins beat the Canadiens 4-3.
When I saw the play developing with Horton, I just felt that there was a chance. You know, he took that shot. The crowd went nuts, and it was a great feeling.
It was only fitting that it went 7 games and, you know, scoring in overtime to win that series.
There's so many storylines in that series that that just worked out for us. It was a matter of bounce here, bounce there, and they move on. But that's what makes a great hockey series.
Shifting gears for Leno. Mike Richards through the seam, deflected stop. Gagne! He scores! This improbable, incredible comeback is complete. History made in Boston tonight. The Flyers defeat the Bruins 4-3. They are the 3rd team in NHL history to come from behind after trailing a series 3 games to none.
After last season's brutal playoff exit at the hands of the Flyers, this Boston Bruins team sought redemption.
The Bruins were on a mission. Exorcise the demon from a year ago.
I think that we all felt before the season started that we had unfinished business because for what happened last year in the playoffs.
Losing in Game 7 to them at home after being up 3-0 in the series, 3-0 in the game, you know, we saw it as an opportunity that, you know, we weren't going to let the same thing happen.
They have a great team over there, and we knew we had to play them hard.
Coburn sent down by McQuaid. Another shot. Ricochet score! Up the rebound. Then one across. Recchia shot to save Boucher. Rebound, score! Looking centering pass, score! Gregory Campbell right in front. His first career playoff goal. And the Bruins have put up 7.
After a 7-3 victory in Game 1, Tim Thomas and the Bruins hoped to carry the momentum into Game 2.
Game 2 against Philadelphia. They actually got up like 2-0 pretty quick.
Beeman fires, deflected, save, another save up for Eric, and then Registro scores his second of the game.
I just decided that the rest of this game, even if we don't win, I'm gonna make Philly work as hard as they can to get any more.
Fire saved by Thomas, shot saved by Thomas, and he is stopped by Thomas.
And the shots just started to add up, and I started feeling better and more confident about myself.
50 Philadelphia shots.
It switched from just making them work at it to being convinced in my mind that I just wasn't going to let them score.
Thomas turned away 46 straight shots, setting up David Krejci for some redemption of his own.
Now Krejci with a drive. It's not signaled a goal.
David was one of those guys who got hurt in that series previous year.
Krejci, look out! Richards lowers the boom on him.
When he got hurt last year, you could feel the collective air get sucked out of us because he's such an important player.
David Krejci's been missing on this Bruins bench.
He probably felt that that was his time for that payback.
Went to review, and the Bruins win it in overtime, 3-2.
Dave is he's just a special hockey player.
Carried ahead now by Krejci on the first line. Through one and score! Give away to Krejci, the shot scores! David Krejci!
He's not a big guy. He protects the puck so well.
You know, his ability to understand all the moving parts, be able to know where people are going, when they're going to get there, how he best fits into all those moving parts.
Horton off the boards, Krejci to Horton! Nathan Horton scores!
Definitely for someone to be on his line like myself, it's just an honor, and he's so young, and he's just going to keep getting better.
Nice pass, score! David Krejci! Game 3, TD Garden. The Bruins will wear their dressy black and gold tonight because they are home.
Philadelphia seemed to be in disarray. I don't know why. The goaltending issue was certainly front and center, but there wasn't the fight in the Philly dog that there normally is. And after Game 2, that seemed to be apparent.
After dominating Game 3 5-1, the Bruins entered Game 4 with a singular goal: to prevent history from repeating.
I think when we got up 3-0 this time, we were like, all right, we got to finish this time, because you never know what can happen.
It was a big thing for players like myself who were around last year, that we wanted to make sure that the same mistake wasn't going to happen, and that we were going to get the job done right there in that Game 4.
We certainly wanted to finish it and kind of turn a page on that era anyways.
And we're underway as they drop the puck at center ice right now. Kept in at the blue line. Philadelphia checking it out. Shooting and scoring! That was Lucic in front of the net and wide open. And the Bruins with a 1-0 lead. Soft to the right of Bobrovsky. Comes to the long point. Jock scores! Warchuk from the right point gives the Bruins a 2-1 lead in the third. Turner is up there too. There's a break for Lucic. Scores! Milan Lucic. And that might be it. Empty net is down there. Shot.
Believe me, it was really a very sweet victory for the fans, because Philadelphia historically, going back into the Broad Street Bullies era, has been a nemesis.
It is sweet redemption for the Bruins. A year after their hearts were broken by the Flyers, they come back and sweep the Flyers out of the playoffs.
When they were able to beat Philadelphia in as convincing a fashion as they did, it accomplished two things. It put that nightmare to bed from the year before, and it got them deeper than they had been in the playoffs in almost 20 years.
Boston's fifth straight win came at a cost, as center Patrice Bergeron was lost to a concussion. But Bergeron's injury wasn't the club's only concern, as the Bruins prepared to face the league's hottest team in the conference final.
Tampa Bay's high-end talent is as good as anybody out there.
They've had three guys in LeCavalier, St. Louis, and Stamkos who any given year could be Hart Trophy candidates.
I knew it was going to be a tough battle against Dwayne Rolliston, because I watched what he did in the previous series against the Washington Capitals.
When you look at the preseason predictions and you think, wow, some people who really are in the know picked Tampa Bay to miss the playoffs entirely. And here they are playing for the Eastern Conference Championship. It was a danger team.
Bruins start the hitting.
There wasn't a real natural rivalry between those two teams. You had to kind of build that hatred.
Let's go! Time to step up, boys!
Le Cavalier is by, dragged and stopped by Thomas. This is Hedman, throwing one, save Thomas, another save Thomas, another one in front, score! Bergenheim! Backhand, score! Brett Clark! Loose puck here, score! Tampa Bay up 3 in the first period.
Boston was aggressive but sloppy, sorely missing one of their best defensive forwards.
When Bergeron's out of the lineup, there's a broadside hole in the boat.
He goes down, and now they bring in the kid.
Seguin into the slot, turning it around Lundin. He does put it on net, and he scores! A beautiful move by Tyler Seguin in his first playoff game.
John Thornton told Tyler Seguin, your game days have to be the practice days.
He was a healthy scratch the first however many games.
Said if we're going to win a championship, you're going to have to contribute somehow, so be prepared in case you got the call.
Sagan's goal and helper weren't enough in Game 1, but after falling behind early in Game 2, the Bruins again turned to their prize rookie.
Seguin 1-on-2, trying to split the D. He does. He's to the net all alone. A backhand, and he scores! Seguin going to that one, Ken. For Seguin. Seguin shoots, scores!
What a time to have the first 2-goal game of your NHL career.
He came in and played an unbelievable couple games for us.
Sagan contributed to 4 of Boston's 5 second-period goals, and the Bees held off a late lightning surge to even the series at 1. As the scene shifted to Tampa Bay, Boston hoped that the return of Patrice Bergeron would help alleviate the pressure from a defense that had been under siege.
Tampa Bay gave the Bruins fits.
We had more breakaways in the first couple games, I think, than we've allowed the whole year.
First couple of games, the Bruins were pretty shaky. A lot of the goals they gave up were almost self-inflicted wounds.
Not a lot of time for the Tampa Bay Lightning when there are loose pucks in their own zone. Boston doing a really good job early of tracking down and taking away time and space for the puck carrier. And Lucic picks up the loose puck, feeds it from Patrice with time, scores! And a minute 9 seconds into the game, it's 1-0 Boston.
The Bruins opened the scoring for the first time in the series, and Tim Thomas was determined to hold the lead.
Purcell, right side, drive, save Thomas. A Cavalier turnaround drive on, and it's kicked out by Thomas.
A very, very workmanlike road game for the Boston Bruins. Tim Thomas makes 31 saves for the shutout.
Well, the Bruins played the blueprint as to how they wanted to play in Game 3. Well, then they go to Game 4, and they build a 3-0 lead in the first period.
No icing there as Hedman reverses into traffic. Bergeron, score at the side of the net!
Ryder left side looking. Ryder feeds it in front, deflected. Score!
Stamkos giving it up for the carry-on by Bergeron. Intercepted, he scores! Bergeron, short-handed!
The Bruins sort of felt that they were going to have their way in the series. And then, deja vu.
Leave it to Chara. He's a little indecisive. Loose puck right side of Purcell. A backhand, and he scores. Or Purcell walks in front. Wrist shot, score. Shot, score! Score! Bergenheim, baby! And we're tied at 3.
They never quit. That's the one thing about Tampa. You know, they kept coming at us.
We've told ourselves, you know, we got to play for 60 minutes. Playing for 20 is not good enough.
Said you can't take your foot off the gas. You do, and it'll be in the back of your net.
Alone to skate it to the right circle. Backhands in the front. Gagne, a wrist shot, and he scores. On a Lucic turnover at center. It leads to the Tampa goal by Simone Gagne.
It was a catastrophic collapse. You had to think you were caught in some pre-2004 Red Sox nightmare.
An empty net goal sealed Game 4 for the Bolts. In Game 5, Boston scored twice in the second period and held on as their goaltender once again stifled the Lightning offense. Despite a Game 6 hat trick from David Krejci, the Bees were unable to finish the series in Tampa Bay, forcing another Game 7 back in Boston.
Game 7 was as good a hockey game as I have ever witnessed. right from the opening face-off. Fans were sitting on the edge of their seat. Nobody sat down.
So who gets the first big hit? The first big scoring chance? Who makes the first remarkable save?
Across to Marty St. Louis, and he got drilled by Seidenberg at center ice.
I thought Game 7 against Tampa was the best game they played in the playoffs.
Taken there by Krejci, gave it to the back. Barrett's a shot blocked away by Rolison.
A lead pass Peverly to Lucic, in alone, Lucic, wrist shot on the save, Rolison.
The first 10-bell save of the day.
It was an epic back-and-forth battle. Not a penalty was called of any kind on either team.
Probing for the first goal of this game continues. Now Chara with a shot deflected off of Rolison. Marc-Andre Bergeron a shot knocked down by Cavalli. Another shot by Gagne would not go. And dropped back now for Bergeron. Dips the shoulder while falling. Trickled one in front that went off a Bruin stick.
The defense stood up, got right in the face of the forwards.
A Cavalier going in with Seidenberg and a good collision there. Attack being met by resistance constantly.
The Boston Bruins executed perfectly.
We showed as a team how much we could learn and how much we could adjust.
Able to escape to the front and shot turned aside by Rolison.
We put all the lessons that we learned throughout the entire series and capped it off with a near-perfect game.
It was 0-0 for the longest time, and I remember thinking on the bench, please don't be a bad bounce the other way, and we end up losing this, because we were playing well and dictating the pace of the game.
If it wasn't for Rolison, they would have had 2 or 3 goals.
He has a reputation as a playoff goalie, and going into Game 7, he never lost an elimination game in his NHL career.
Puck to Marchand out in front. Oh, a great save and another terrific save. Horton drops. Krejci with it over to Lucic. Lucic in front. And a save made by Rolison. Rebound. Skinner right across the net mouth.
Tim Thomas's greatest fear, he said after that game, was not that he would let in a goal, but that Rolison wouldn't.
Bergeron jabbed one across. Oh, and what a save by Rolison on Marchand.
You know, you had a feeling that as that game went on, that whoever scored the first goal was probably going to win.
Past the halfway point of the third period of a scoreless Game 7.
There had been so much talk going into that series about Tampa Bay and the 1-3-1 and how do you break through it.
Assistant coach Doug Huda said that against the 1-3-1, when the Bruins recognize the geometry, they need to attack it thus.
They come back in the neutral zone. They swing a little deep.
Andrew Ference has possession of the puck unchallenged.
Krejci and Horton enter with great speed.
Krejci fans off to the left side.
Horton is posted up, and Ference hits Krejci with the pass.
David Krejci with the puck in his hands. Sweet hands. Soft little saucer pass.
Again, Nathan Horton, Mr. Money, Mr. Big Time.
It took 7 games to finally get through the neutral zone cleanly, but it came at the right time.
We knew the game wasn't done, but it did feel good to get that goal and be the first on the board.
Just to see Horty score, calming presence almost came over me.
Everyone's standing here.
And the building just, exploded on that goal. And there was a feeling that that was going to be enough.
The fans realized they were going to have the chance to play for the Stanley Cup.
Sent back to center, Seidenberg has it, and the Bruins win! The Bruins win! They're in the Stanley Cup Finals!
Standing in the way of Boston's first Stanley Cup in 39 years were the President's Trophy-winning Vancouver Canucks. The Canucks started their playoff run by eliminating the defending Stanley Cup champion Chicago Blackhawks in 7 games.
Flips it, Burrow steals, cutting in, shoots, scores! They've slayed the Dragon!
After ousting Nashville in the next round, Vancouver faced the high-powered San Jose Sharks in the conference final.
It's up in the air, score! Kennedy extra took the shot, and the Vancouver Canucks are going to the Stanley Cup Final.
The Canucks had earned home ice advantage, but one particular Bruin would also be playing at home.
It's such a special thing to make it to the Stanley Cup, but for myself, it was a little extra special just because it was my hometown and the team I grew up cheering for.
Welcome inside Rogers Arena, Game 1 of the 2011 Stanley Cup Final. The Vancouver Canucks, Western Conference champs, host the Boston Bruins, the Eastern Conference champs, and also one of the legendary franchises in NHL history.
It was great. We were finally there, and we worked so hard to get to this point.
Vancouver comes in as a team that led the entire National Hockey League in goals scored. They led the entire National Hockey League in goals against.
They have all this talent. They score a ton of goals. They got a great goalie, great defense, and so we knew we were going to be in tough.
Game 1 showcased 2 Vezina Trophy finalists, and their play did not disappoint.
The shot stopped by Luongo. Loose Higgins to the net, tipped right on. Another wonderful save by Thomas on Ryan Kessler.
They've been great all year long, both goalies.
Recchi gets the shot and he's stopped by Luongo. Adam Marsh on a wrist shot and a save, Luongo.
The story has been the goaltender. These 2 goaltenders have been absolutely tremendous.
It was definitely the goalies that stole the show for both teams.
With the goaltenders refusing to budge, the teams took their frustrations out on each other.
We knew they were a team that wasn't going to shy away.
He's a tough guy. I know what you're all about. You're not that tough, but you're not kidding, everybody.
We really had to make it hard on their best players.
And then Henderson is drilled and sent to the ice at the end of this scrum.
Are you okay? Hey, are you okay?
It didn't matter who it was. We wanted to be physical against everybody.
Period, and it didn't take long for some hostilities to start between these 2 teams.
It came out to be a real physical series.
To Milan Lucic, dumped it in, and it took a big check.
And they were hitting, and so we were trying to respond.
Now LaPierre wrestles Zdeno Chara to the ice.
He better get some help. He had something on his hand, like maybe a bite.
You can't bite in this league, no matter how hungry you are for a championship.
As the physical play subsided, the ice opened up for a dramatic third period.
Back on by Hedler again. Hedler with a shot! Rattled off the pipe!
Had to be a heart-stopping moment for Tim Thomas. 7.5 remaining here in the third.
Wheel, heads up!
And it was turned aside by the Canucks as we go back and forth now. Under 5 minutes remaining here in regulation time in a scoreless Game 1. Here come the Canucks again. Jannik Hansen. LaPierre stopped by Thomas. All Vancouver as far as the offensive pressure here. Aaron plays it ahead. Hansen behind everybody. In for the shot. Thomas the save, and he covers up with the glove. What a terrific save.
Dave, how about the pace?
And we're down to less than 2 minutes remaining.
Nearing the last minute, 5 now.
Kessler makes a nice play. Sends it across, a chance here for Hansen. And front score! Robbie Torres with 18.5 seconds remaining in regulation. Hansen with an empty net, and he just missed it. Game over. Vancouver has won the first game of the Stanley Cup Final, 1-0.
Losing with 18 seconds left was extremely difficult.
It was disappointment, and guys were upset, but you forget about it and you move on and you get ready for the next one.
Bergeron and Kessler for the opening faceoff of Game 2, and it is underway.
Boston came out firing, but soon found themselves in trouble.
Battling onto it is Kessler trying to get away from Chara. That's perilously close to interference. In fact, it is.
Kept alive, though, by Sammy Salo. Pitched around in front. Oh, and a hurried shot by Bruins. He scores!
Undeterred by the power play marker, the Bruins finally solved Roberto Luongo.
Angles it off the boards. Off the point check with a drive. Safe and rebound. Score! And there it is. Milan Lucic gets the first goal of the series against Luongo. And it ties this Game 2 at 1-1.
With their first goal behind them, Boston looked to remedy another problem.
So an empty power play for the Bruins, 21 straight. To all those in New England, we apologize. We're just reciting the numbers, and we know that they're troubling.
Our power play was definitely frustrating.
They've tried just about anything and everything they can to get their power play going.
Tell them just to listen a bit better.
My theory, of course, is that they should be allowed to refuse the penalty, and then the other team make a $500 contribution to a Bruins charity instead, and we go play 5-on-5.
Good shift here for Boston, building on that goal by Lucic. And now there's going to be a penalty here, a holding call.
Covered by Ryder and swept across to Chara. Chara with wrister, score! And the Bruins get a power play goal and break the tie. What an important goal for them to break this tie. The first lead that they have had in the series.
Plays it out to Alex Edler at the right point. A wrist shot tipped by Daniel Sedin. Loose puck, and Daniel Sedin scores from the left wing circle, and he ties it up. It's 2-2 in the third.
Running out of time in front of the net. Thomas blocks the pass. Third period's over. Game 2 of the Stanley Cup final is going to sudden death overtime.
The Bruins win, they get home ice. If the Canucks win, a stranglehold.
Blocked by Edler, turned back the other way. Here comes Burrows, fakes. He got Thomas down and out, he scores! 11 seconds into overtime.
To lose so quickly in overtime, that was tough.
When you see a goal go in like that, all the luck, it seemed like it was on their side, and they were getting all the bounces in the first 2 games, and we weren't.
And so the Cup final shifts to Boston, home of the Bruins since 1924, and where the last Cup final game was May 24th, 1990.
Going into Game 3, well, our backs started to be up against the wall. When you're down 2-0 in a series, it's not looking really good. You don't want to get embarrassed.
We kept bringing up the fact that we'd been down 2-0 before to Montreal. It was a worse scenario at that point because we were going on the road to win Game 3 and 4. This time we had an opportunity to do that in front of our fans. We had an opportunity to do it in our building where we had had success in the playoffs.
There was just that feeling that, we were going to get ourselves back into the series and we were going to come to play. A big thing that we always talked about is, we didn't have regrets and we wanted to leave everything out there.
We had to take it as do or die, we had to go out there and play it like it was our Game 7.
And you can see how aggressive the Bruins are early on. This is Bruin hockey that they want to play.
Our game plan was certainly about getting pucks in deep. We felt that if we can get our forecheck going and our physical game going, it was going to be to our advantage. And it was also important to get our fans into it nice and early.
Sean Thornton with his first shift of the series. And he gets in and he gets a hit on Alex Burrows, and that brings the Bruin fans to their feet.
The hometown crowd was incredible, and we had that atmosphere, and we finally played the way we're capable of playing.
I think if you're Vancouver, you just want to try and survive the first 10 minutes or so of this game.
Oh, Horton is down and he is hurt.
The hit on Horty was, I don't even know how to describe it. You're just sad to see your friend get hurt.
It was late, really late. You know what I mean? I got to give him 5 in game.
Our first concern, I think, was how he was doing. I mean, as much as he's such an important player for our team, he's a friend of all of ours.
And the fans salute, and we all hope for the best for Nathan Horton.
After Horton got hit, it was a tough situation right there. I mean, everyone was, pretty upset.
A 5-minute man advantage provided an opportunity for the Bruins to take the lead. But with a teammate on his way to the hospital, the distraction was palpable.
Nathan Horton, at that time, the second leading scorer for the Bruins, goes down. This is the guy that got the overtime goal in the Montreal series. Had been a big scorer for them all year.
Boston desperately needed to get something out of this 5-minute. Instead, Vancouver gets the lift.
In the first period, our guys were very worried about Horton's health and probably lost our thoughts there a little bit on what we had to do.
Right now for Boston, they got to get their nerves back together. It's just seen a teammate go down. They got to get thinking hockey again.
After the first period, we regrouped, and then we went out there in the second period, a motivated group, and just started scoring some goals.
There's a shot by Barrett, scores! Deflected in front. Andrew Barrett's 1-0 Boston.
We rallied around the hit on Nathan Horton, and it kind of got us fired up and going, and we headed in the right direction.
Andrew Barrett, 11 seconds into the second period.
It's amazing what a single goal can do in terms of charging a team with momentum.
Ryder looking back toward a Recchi, the bottom of the right circle, center, one score! And Recchi will get credit for the power play goal as it deflected in. It's 2-0 Bruins.
Here's a chance now for Malhotra, and a save is made by Thomas.
In that game, the luck started to come on our side.
Marchand going towards the net, he's free, put it on net and he scores! What a goal by Brad Marchand, shorthanded!
We had the momentum, and we wanted to make sure that we kept it.
Here's Michael Ryder with a shot. Big rebound, Tucci scores!
4 goals for the Bruins on the last 13 shots this period.
And the Canucks badly need to get to the intermission.
Through the game's first 2 periods, Boston's physical presence was overwhelming. In the third, it was devastating.
City line is on. Seidenberg stripped to the puck. Thomas makes a body check.
The puck was up in the air. He was catching it with his hand. When guys catch like a rebound, they almost always score. So in this case, I had about 1/100th of a second to make sure that he couldn't score.
He knocked down Henrik Sedin and stopped the puck. He's multitasking.
Thomas is banging guys in the crease, and they're all over them.
I now think that everyone on the Bruins has a hit in this game.
That was a very emotional night at the Boston Garden. It felt like the 70s.
Hey, he doesn't want to fight. Go to your bench or I give you 10.
It was physical, it was high scoring.
Centering pass. Score! Mark Recchi.
This is another goal scored by Kelly. Make it 7.
And the Bruins are blowing out the Canucks. It's 8-1. 3 in a minute and 50 seconds against Luongo.
All of a sudden, what looked like a short series became something a lot more than that.
Fans in Boston will count down the seconds. Their team back in the Stanley Cup final in a big way.
Your thoughts on 4-game suspension, rest of the series for Aaron Rome?
Well, I don't think I've ever changed my approach on that. I like to leave things up to the NHL to rule on those things, and whether you agree or not, you support them. And I support them with the Burrows decision, and I'm supporting them with this one as well.
Do you think that hit may have woken a sleeping giant, you guys? You think the message was sent?
Yeah, it's only one game, you know. We didn't want to go down 3-0. It was a huge win for us to get back in this series, and we got to make sure we go out the same way and win the game and show them that we have his back.
The devastating hit on Nathan Horton shook the entire city of Boston. Prior to the start of Game 4, number 18 received a special message from number 4.
He's such a great guy and obviously a legend in this city. I didn't get to see it live, but I did watch it on TV. For him to be able to get the crowd going with Horty's flag, I mean, is a pretty big deal. There's not too many words that can describe Bobby Orr waving your flag. It feels really good, that's for sure.
In the Bruins locker room, while thoughts were with their fallen teammate, their focus shifted to the task at hand.
When you're in a situation when you're down 2-1, that Game 4 is so important because you don't want to put yourself in a hole.
If you get down 3-1 in the series, it's really tough because you only have basically one mulligan left.
We were in a situation where, we had to win. We had no choice.
And Game 4 of the 2011 Stanley Cup Final is underway.
Can they come back and win again? Absolutely. I think they found a formula that works, and that's to play extremely physical hockey.
We came out and we played hard, and they actually came out real hard.
3-on-2 is Daniel. Takes the shot.
as Thomas made the save.
But our defensemen, they stepped up and played unbelievable.
Determined to keep Daniel and Henrik Sedin quiet, Zdeno Chara and the Bruins defense intimidated and harassed the brothers early and often.
To be able to stop last year's leading scorer and this year's leading scorer, you know, it's a job well done by our defensemen.
Stay physical here. Stay physical on these guys. Don't let up. Send them a message.
With Vancouver's offense contained, Boston attempted to create some of their own.
Being at home, we knew that the first goal would at least give us some life through the fans, and our record showed that when we scored the first goal, we were usually successful.
Rink-wide pass on the stick of Krejci. He'll chip it up ahead. Peverley has a step to the net. Peverley, a wrist shot, and he scores! Peverley in alone gives the Bruins the 1-0 lead.
Tim Thomas stepped up again and refused to let the Canucks score.
LaPierre trying to get around McQuaid. He does. He cuts in. Thomas the save. Loose puck in the blue paint. And the puck is covered up by the glove of Thomas. Oh, what a save.
He's a battler in the net. You know, he does anything he can to save that puck. He dives, whatever. He doesn't care as long as the puck doesn't go in the net.
Thomas just looked like he's out playing shinny. He just looked calmly there. He's aggressive.
The thought occurred that it's almost like he's rubbing her nose in it by not even trying.
He doesn't even look like he's working at it.
While Thomas remained unbeatable, Roberto Luongo struggled to stop Boston scorers in the second and third periods.
Fed it ahead. Ryder walks it into the zone. Here's Ryder shooting. He scores!
It was playoff time. You want to beat the other team, and that's what we want to do. We just want to keep going. We don't want to give a team any life, and we want to just send a message.
Forecheck knocks down Ballard. Henrik Sedin had it knocked away by Bergeron. Bergeron chipped it in front. Marchand a backhand, and he scores! On the doorstep, Brad Marchand beats Luongo, and the Bruins are up 3.
Krejci plays it ahead. Lucic now with speed. Able to get around the exit. Backhand pass. It's steered aside. It's in! Luongo tried to clear it. It hit something in front and ends up behind the Vancouver goaltender. It is now 4-0.
And this place is going absolutely crazy. Peverley will get credit for his second goal of the game. Roberto Luongo gets pulled.
At the time in Game 4, when you see him getting pulled, you're happy about it, but you're happy because you think you have a better chance to win next game.
He's one of the best goaltenders in the league, you know, and that makes you feel pretty good when you take a pretty good goalie and knock him out of the game.
Well, right now it's regroup time. They hopped on a plane 4 days ago with a 2-0 lead, everything going their way, energy galore. And in a matter of just less than 6 periods, lots of questions, and that energy is going the other way in the Boston Bruins.
Tim Thomas trying to get his 3rd shutout of these playoffs, and he will have it.
He had to face 38 shots, and the Vancouver Canucks go to their locker room to begin recovery.
Tim Thomas again was superb, and the Boston Bruins have tied the series.
Waiting in the Bees' locker room was their inspirational teammate Nathan Horton, who came by to personally continue their newest playoff tradition.
To see Nathan, come in the locker room and, present Peverley with that jacket was, an emotional thing for all of us.
The ceremonial jacket that we gave away after every game, he had it at the time, so we decided we weren't going to give it away. It was his jacket to give away.
It put a smile on our faces. He looked a lot better than I thought he would.
He loved to be there with us and just go out there and play hard and try and be a difference. And, we got the job done for him, and it was a great feeling.
My teammates have been great, just to make me feel like I'm still part of it. And, it's tough watching, but it's better watching when we win.
And ladies and gentlemen, what we have now is a best-of-3 series for the Stanley Cup.
The series shifted back to Vancouver for a pivotal Game 5, with all eyes on Roberto Luongo.
After Game 4, Coach Vigneault, when asked who would be starting in goal tonight, when asked if Luongo would, he said you can bet on it. Considering how mightily Luongo has struggled the last 2 games, are you glad to see him in goal?
My concern is what happens in our dressing room, so really does matter.
The 362nd consecutive sellout of 18,860 here in Vancouver.
The Boston Bruins are trying to become just the 5th team to win a Stanley Cup final after losing the first 2 games.
Vancouver was a different team, playing with an urgency that was missing in Boston.
They came out hard. They definitely out-hit us.
Vancouver is winning the physical battle in this first period.
We rarely ever got out-hit or outworked or anything like that, but you know, that game, they came out really, really hard.
However, it was the Bruins who had the game's first great scoring chance.
And it's all the way out where Kelly's going to be able to break with speed. He's got Marchand cutting for the net. Kelly with a shot. He hit the goal post. And Luongo may have
got a piece of it, which I think he did. That close for Boston to take a lead in this game.
That was tough. You know, thinking, you know, after the game, how different maybe the game would have been if I had capitalized on that opportunity.
At the other end of the ice, the Canucks continue to struggle against Tim Thomas.
Back comes Kessler. Puts on the brakes. He slides it across. A chance here for Mason Raymond cutting in. Oh, what a stop by Thomas.
Here's the fake, and then look at the room on the short side. He gets his blocker glove over to make the save on Raymond.
Remember, you have to go back to 13:53 of the 3rd period of Game 3, the last time the Canucks have scored on Thomas.
Virtually non-stop play, 6:20 to go first period. The shots are 8-3 Boston, no score.
Here is Lucci, hands it off Krejci, back to Caberlet, across Seidenberger shot, redirect and save another chance. Luongo the stop up Bergeron.
Wow, 2 great saves by Luongo. Those are as good as he's made in the series.
The second period started with both teams trading chances, looking for the all-important first goal.
Enter Sedin, that bounces right to Kelly, drops it off, and Luongo will save a rebound, set high and wide.
That's it, boys, that's it, boys. You're a tough guy at home now, huh? I'll go, yeah.
When you get near the end, you've got the 2 best teams in the league fighting for the championship. They're not going to give an inch.
With the prospect of a 3-2 series lead at stake, both teams missed prime opportunities to jump in front.
Held in by Recchi. Recchi sets it up one time, just wide by Marchand. He missed the net.
He fanned on it. What a chance.
Bounces off a hit from Seidenberg, shoves it in front. Glass slides it back down. Tanner on the far side. It's feeling out of the rebound is stopped by Thomas. What an opportunity. Tanner blasts out on the far side, and he fanned on it.
Great chances at both ends of the ice.
And the period comes to an end, and just like Game 1 of this series, we'll go into the 3rd period without a goal having been scored.
Here we go, boys.
I would expect Vancouver to come out and play a more aggressive style. It has to have the feeling that this is a game they have to win.
Jara knocks it away. Puck is held in by Kessler, sides it across. Higgins, a shot saved by Thomas, who slid out the challenge. Now LaPierre got it by one of the Bruins. Malhotra going for the net. LaPierre drops it back to late man Torres. Back to LaPierre, sliding across Thomas to save. Now Rafi Torres again out to the line. Bieksa.
Now Bieksa with a long shot. That goes wide. LaPierre the rebound. Scores! Thomas almost got there, but LaPierre took the ricochet off the inboards and put it in from a sharp angle to make it 1-0.
The shot going wide on purpose because they know that Thomas can be aggressive. Works out in spades.
At that point, it was only 1-0. I don't think we were too rattled by it at the time. We put a push on.
Now Paille for Thornton, a drive saved by Luongo. Between the circle, turns, hits the late man. Caberlet with a drive and a save by Luongo. 4.5 remaining in the 3rd period. Here's Caberlet with it. Caberlet to the front of the net. Redirected, I think off of Verhoff. Stick is saved by Luongo. Barents, straight away a drive, save made by Luongo.
Even though we just won 2 games, Vancouver went back in the rink and really took it to us.
What a response from Vancouver. The Canucks are a win away from their first Stanley Cup.
It was a game decided by the only goal within it. But it was the words that followed that became the story.
It's an easy save for me, but if you're wandering out and aggressive like he does, I mean, that's going to happen.
Not very subtle there. Kevin, is that not against goaltender union policy?
Before the trip to Boston, Roberto Luongo added more fuel to the fire.
Going into Game 6, obviously there was some comments made by Luongo on Tim Thomas.
I've been pumping his tires ever since the series started, so I haven't heard one nice thing he had to say about me, so that's the way it is.
I didn't realize it was my job to pump his tires. I guess I'll have to apologize for that.
I understand what it's like to say something to the media and have it kind of blown out of proportion to the way that you thought it was going to come out. But at the same time, I couldn't figure out if he was actually trying to play head games with me. And I didn't know if it was just part of the tactics of trying to win. Either way, I just wanted to make sure that I responded on the ice right away and showed them that nothing bothers me.
Well, Game 6 at home, we obviously had to win it. We really didn't want them to be on our ice with that cup.
When we were in the room, we were all just saying, this is it, last game of the year, boys, and that's all it is. Just we had to throw it all out there, and we didn't want to live with any regrets.
We knew our backs were against the wall. We were kind of like that all year, though. We were a better team when we were pushed to the brink.
The other thing that we talked about and that I had gone through with Calgary, I had been on the other side where we had a chance to win in Game 6 back in 2004, and we ended up losing. And I told the guys that a Game 6 loss under those circumstances is devastating. It really hurts the psyche because you've spent the last couple days dreaming about raising the cup and thinking about what you're going to do with it and picturing yourself as a champion. And when that kind of, comes crumbling down and you don't get it, it's tough to recover, as an individual, but also as a team from that. So feeding off that experience, I think that we knew that we'd have an upper hand if we played a really solid Game 6.
Even though they were in a better situation than us, if we came out and had our best game, we had an opportunity.
Game 6 is underway. First of all, the team that scores first has won each game. The other thing is that both teams know that the team that plays most physical wins the game as well.
Chara gives Henrik Sedin a rough ride. The captain's number 33 are both going up.
Everybody was into the game, Z was all wound up and shows a lot of emotion, I think. And when we established that early in the game, as a team, we always seem to play well.
Scaled on out to center, and that one kicked aside, but it's brought right back on by Marchand, and a shot. He scores!
There's that big first goal. A great shot by Brad Marchand, 1-0 Bruins.
And out to center ice, and the Bruins try to hammer it back in deep and hit now Holtrum. And now with some speed, Beverly drops it back again for Lucic. He scores! Milan Lucic puts it through Luongo. It is 2-0 Boston.
If this building wasn't crazy after 2 goals in 35 seconds, it went completely bonkers when Nathan Horton was shown on the big screen. He's in the building tonight cheering on his teammates. Out to center after the puck is Rich Peverly. Edler's got a beat on him. Oh, he hit him hard. An arm went up, and Edler's going to be penalized for voting.
Luongo has to come up big here and make some saves. This can't go to 3 or Corey Schneider will be in the net.
Fed to the back and held there carefully by Barron. Spun over to Michael Ryder. Filtered back to Barron. Fires! Goal!
Gotta get him out of there. And Schneider's getting ready. They chased him again. Roberto Luongo's gonna exit. In comes Corey Schneider.
It was great that we were able to get 3 goals on the first, I think, 7 shots it was. And we got to him last time he was in Boston, and we wanted to do the same thing.
And this is a long hill to climb for Vancouver, down 3-0. Here's a shot from the line, score! It goes up the post and in. May have been tipped by Ryder in front. And the Bruins beat Corey Schneider and make it 4-0.
Vancouver burns its 32nd timeout, 9 minutes and 45 seconds into the game. 4 goals in 4 minutes and 14 seconds.
Mark Recchi will get his second assist of the game.
Rex displays the passion that we try and build on. He's 43, he plays hurt. He goes to those greasy, grimy areas to get pucks, to tip pucks, to score. He leads, but he obviously had a reserve somewhere that he pulled up for that game, and it was impressive.
Nice save by Corey Schneider on Mark Recchi. He got that shot away in a hurry.
There was no way you're going to hold him back, and he went out there and just played it as well as he could have played. And, that just kind of opened everybody's eyes, and it made a lot of players realize what it takes to win a Stanley Cup.
Second time for Mark Recchi. A decade and a half ago, it was in Pittsburgh.
He's been a great influence on me. Everything that he brings is something special, something I look up to. And he's helped me a lot in my development as a leader. And I can't thank him enough.
Recchi at the bottom of the right wing circle, sends it across, score! Krejci! And a 5-1 lead.
When we had our backs against the wall all year, we really rose to the occasion all the time, and I didn't expect anything else in Game 6.
For the 16th time in Stanley Cup Finals history, a Game 7 Wednesday night, Rogers Arena in Vancouver.
How special is this? It's what you dream about, right? I mean, Canadian kid playing street hockey in the middle of Adelaide. He's talking about Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals, so I think we're pretty excited here. We set ourselves up to get to this situation. Now we got to try and finish it off.
Luckily, we don't have to come back here again this season, and we go back to Vancouver, where we're a pretty good team on home ice.
While the Canucks were happy to be leaving the Garden, they were unaware that part of it was coming to Vancouver.
Was there something in the water in Boston? 15 minutes ago, Nathan Horton took a Gatorade bottle and poured some water on the ice. What do you think he's doing?
Yeah, you see the way they played in Boston? Of course there's something in the water in Boston.
He's been all stealth about it, checking the sides, and we watch it.
The water bottle thing was funny because they didn't really tell any of us that they were going to do it.
We just want to change our luck with their ice, and we've been having a lot of luck with our Garden ice here.
I saw it sitting in a stall, and it said something like Boston Ice or something like that.
It wasn't my idea, but I'll take credit for putting it on the ice because that's what I did.
He came back in the room, he said, "It's our ice now."
One game, winner take all.
Got up in the morning and the nervousness was there, the anticipation was there.
I know there was a lot of sweating going on amongst our team. I felt like my job as a goalie was to give off the aura that I was relaxed and confident.
82 games and 2 months of war. No sport in the world does what we do in hockey.
Game 7 is underway.
Back up Burrows again, winds up, drives a shot just wide of Thomas.
Peverley fed one around, and a diving play made there, and then it's popped wide.
I wanted us to be as high as we could be as a team and prepared as much as we could be, but we had to be in control of our emotions. We've been through this twice already. We know what it's all about.
Henrik Sedin twisting, and his shot is stopped by Thomas.
Plays it across to Daniel. Backhander. Save Thomas, and he reached behind him.
What a pace, as you might expect. Skate to the puck here. This Boston fourth line has been good early on. In fact, maybe its best.
All through the year, we were pretty successful fourth line.
They were doing what they had to do out there. They were getting the puck in deep.
Playing with Soupy was a treat. Pies, he can skate. He can really hit, too.
They gave us the energy that we needed, and I think we just picked it up from there and just got better.
This city of Vancouver is on the edge of its seat.
5:55 to go in a scoreless first period.
Marchand looking, curls out to the right circle, spins back in deep, feeds it in front, score! Patrice Bergeron on the slot, set up by Marchand.
Patrice Bergeron was scoring that first goal, just gave everybody on the bench so much more confidence.
That's it, that's it, that's it. Great play, great play.
I think once we scored, we felt like we were going to win.
Let's get another one here.
It was a great feeling. With that being said, we need to make sure we're worried about the next shift now.
Andrew right up the middle, tip to Tambellini. Kessler, stopped by Thomas. The first period comes to an end with Boston outshot, but in the lead.
The guys were excited. You could tell the guys were very focused and ready, committed to going out there and laying it on the line.
Marchand dips the shoulder, walks in front, hit the post with the shot. That deflected right out in front. Burrows holds, and shot one blocked by Chara.
Zdeno Chara turned it over. Zdeno Chara made the save.
Loose puck picked up at the side of the net. Marchand a wraparound, the Longo, and the puck's in the net. It's a goal.
Wraparound goal by Brad Marchand. The Bruins have a 2-0 lead.
Vancouver needs to get back on the body, get some energy back in, hitting the Boston Bruins and attacking.
Good job, good job.
Racing ahead is Recchi. Here's Recchi trying to get by. Drags it in front. Oh, and he couldn't shove it by.
What a rush for those 43-year-old legs.
Legs moving on the cycles. They can't skate with us back there.
And now there's going to be a penalty called for the first time in a game, and it'll go against the Boston Bruins.
Power play for the Canucks, one for the last 23 against the Bruins.
Seidenberg will gun off the boards, kicks it in the middle of Bergeron. Bergeron trying to settle it down the middle, being chased. Bergeron to the net, bumped down by Ehrhoff. Score! It rolled in. Bergeron gets it short-handed, and the Bruins have a 3-0 lead.
Scoring a goal is a bonus on the PK, so that goal was huge.
That's it, boys. That's it. Deal that off. Deal that off. No.
And they get 2 more in the second to take a 3-0 lead.
3-0 Boston going into period 3.
And there's the obstacle Vancouver faces now. Tim Thomas, who's been the most consistent performer in this series.
Timmy probably had one of the greatest single seasons ever.
All year gave us the chance to win 9 in, 9 out.
Number 30, chances are you're not going to get 4 on him tonight. You might not get 1.
He was the best player on any team in these playoffs.
I mean, you could have the perfect season, but if you don't perform in the finals, that's what people remember.
Back comes Daniel Sedin over the blue line to the right side. Backhander to save Thomas. Thought he had the rebound covered, and he does.
We're going to win at 7-0. Keep going.
This is the most animated I've ever heard the Boston Bruins bench. Every single player's talking.
Let's go to timeout, and we got a 3-goal lead. So we do this first thing. We don't panic. 3-15.
You could see the guys really excited and they could feel it, and then you had to make sure you kept them focused and you had to bring them back down.
Lead on!
Everyone was all wound up, but we just tried to settle each other down and go out there and just relax and just play our game.
Under 5 to go in the third period.
To the last 4:05 of regulation time.
Canucks have pulled their goaltender with 3 minutes to go.
A puck at center. It's loose. Marchand has it with an open net in front of him. Marchand, a wrist shot, and he scores! Brad Marchand for the empty net goal and a 4-0 lead for the Bruins.
After Marshy scored, the guys on the bench said that they all kind of jumped up and super excited, and then a bunch of them kind of sat back down, like getting ready for the next shift. They realized it was kind of a silly thing to do. I mean, the game was wrapped up.
With 5 seconds to go, the exit behind the Canucks net. Get the duck boats ready. After 39 long years, the cup is back home.
When you're in the game and in the moment, the time can't go by fast enough.
The Bruins are 2011 Stanley Cup champions.
After it's over, you don't ever want it to end.
We did it! We did it, Rex!
I was so relieved, happy for all the guys, the fans, city of Boston.
It was an incredible rush when you realize that you've done it. It was kind of surreal.
You're at the top of the NHL mountain. How's the view?
I don't think it's still clicked in all the way for me.
The winner of the Conn Smythe Trophy, Tim Thomas.
The Bruins are gathered, awaiting the arrival of the Stanley Cup.
I was very humbled and honored to be the first as a captain to lift the cup.
It never gets old, and you can't describe the feelings you get when you do get a hold of it.
It's the greatest day of your life.
You dream about it as a kid, playing junior in the American League.
To be able to do it in my hometown where I grew up, that made it extra special. We went on the road, but when I got that cup and I heard the fans cheering, it felt like I was home.
You're face to face with the guy you're handing it off to, and you see his expression. That's the coolest part.
They've only had this cup for less than 10 minutes. They're going to remember every experience for the rest of their lives.
Oh, it's worth it, but it hurts.
City, Boston. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. One more. No, this is it. That's it for me. Yeah, one more. Well done.
I mean, I was a kid in high school when they won the Cup in 70 and 72. It's a long drought, 39 years.
We didn't have duck boats for the parade back then. I can't wait to see the duck boats with the Bruin players on.
I would guess that there's over 1 million people in the streets of Boston.
Their love of the Bruins came through so clear.
It's been a long time coming for them. They've been very passionate fan base for a lot of years. 39 years, a long time.